Hi everyone, and welcome to Exploring the Build. If you just found this place, then welcome. And if you're returning, I'm glad to have you back. I'm Alex, and this is my channel where we theory craft and explore different character builds for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today we're doing another quick build. And quick builds are just where we briefly explore a summarized build for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. As always with quick builds, let me know in the comments below if there are any builds that you would like to see me explore in the future. Today for our concept in the quick build, we're doing another Barbarian build. Admittedly, I like Barbarians. I like building around Rage and seeing what you can do that you wouldn't normally think of. And in this case, this is pretty out of pocket. We are going to be combining the Barbarian's Rage feature with the Wizard class of all things, specifically the Blade Singer Wizard and their Blade Song ability. The concept we're going for in this video is a character that is all about going into a full battle trance. We're going to get both the persistent effect of Rage and the persistent effect of Blade Song matched together to make a character that is just very defensive, but also very focused in the fight. Really, this character should actually probably be called the Rage Singer, but that doesn't really roll off the tongue and also sounds like it's a bit more like a Bard Barbarian or a Barbarian. Whereas I kind of think this is more about someone who's controlling their rage and just dancing through the battle effortlessly as they cut down their enemies. So today we are doing the Ragedancer. Starting in character creation, our lineage and background can both be pretty much anything. If you want a free feat, then feel free to take either custom lineage or human variant to get one, or maybe your DM is just nice enough to give you one right away. Thematically though, we want a character that comes alive in a fight, someone who's completely focused on the movements and rhythm of a battle. For the sake of our build, I'm going to assume we are a custom lineage character, and for our free feat, I'm going to take Athlete of all things. We're also going to pick up Dark Vision, because that's always nice to have. But the reason I take Athlete is because it gives us a few mobility benefits that are actually going to come in handy, especially with our Rage and Blade Song benefits. It's also going to help even out our stats a little bit, which is nice too. Speaking of our stats, we're going to need a lot of at least okay ability scores. We need 13 in at least strength and intelligence to multi-class effectively, and we want our dex and constitution to be reliable as well. We're going to put the +1 from athlete into strength because we have to, and we're going to put the +2 from custom lineage into dex. With point buy, this is going to give us the following ability scores: 16 strength, 14 dexterity, 14 constitution, 14 intelligence, 8 wisdom, and 8 charisma. Going into the actual level breakdown of our build, in all honesty, there's not a lot that I need to say for what this build is actually going to look like besides what it's thematically going to look like. By level 10, we want to be a Barbarian 6 and a Wizard 4. The Wizard 4 is going to give us access to the Blade Song feature by taking Blade Singer as our subclass, and we're also going to gain some spells, which normally wouldn't be great with Barbarian, but because we don't want to rage all the time necessarily, especially if we're like dungeon crawling, we could take some spells that could be good in combat, or we can just take out of combat spells, buffs that don't require concentration, like our Frost Demon did with Armor of Agathes. We won't build around that type of spell specifically, but we can still pick some up that are nice to have. And with Barbarian, we're going to pick up the path of Wild Magic. Wild Magic isn't a path that's really great to build around, given that it's so self-contained, but pairing it with Blade Singer can make for a really neat thematic character. We are an arcane barbarian, someone whose rage is just completely infused with magic. Maybe there was some sort of magical accident or something that has infused us with arcane potential. That arcane potential only shows up when we rage. Mechanically, the only real benefits that we're getting is the fact that we're pairing Rage with Blade Song. Blade Song, when you actually have a good intelligence modifier, which we eventually will, is very good for your AC and just not getting hit. Notably, there are times when we will get hit, especially as a frontline character. Barbarian, on the other hand, brings Rage, and Rage just gives us straight resistance, which, if you were to go Barbarian, would be a little bit better, or Zealot to just not die while you're raging. Wild Magic's just the most thematic. Rage, however, makes us very tanky as a frontline character, and when you pair the two together, even though you could technically just specialize into one to make the best mechanical option, Combining the two makes for an interesting defensive character that can also have some good offensive options. The only actual choices we'll eventually make are our ASIs/feats, and really those are just going to be dedicated to increasing our ability scores. We'll increase our strength to 18 at Barbarian 4, and when we get to Wizard 4, we'll increase our intelligence. It seems fitting to let each class increase its primary ability score. For levels 11 to 20, we're just going back to Barbarian and going all the way up to Barbarian 16. You could do something like a 10-10 split. The reason I didn't go with that is because 10 Blade Singer gives us the feature that lets us reduce damage as a reaction by expending a spell slot. And while Barbarians can make really good use of that, given that they can do that while raging and they'll have resistance from rage and all that sort of good mechanical synergy, that feature alone, especially given that it's only a reaction and not just something that we just can do, doesn't feel that powerful for us, or at least not like what we want. Plus, there aren't that many higher level spells from Wizard that pair well with a Barbarian's Rage, because they're not meant to pair well. We're just kind of getting around that by picking the few that do. So instead, going up Barbarian 16 gives us an extra ability score improvement, which of course we'll use to increase our strength and intelligence some more. By the end of it, we'll have strength and intelligence both capped, though you could do like strength 18, constitution 18, intelligence 18. But I'll say we'll just try to cap those two ability scores to feel like just an arcane barbarian, like we're supposed to. And the other nice thing about getting up to like Barbarian 14 or higher is the fact that we get all of the Path of Wild Magic's features, which again are very self-contained and all about just making our Wild Surge core feature a lot more reliable. The actual Wild Surge features don't really scale themselves, so they're not necessarily the greatest, but the fact that they're just passively happening while we're raging is actually pretty good. Some of them boost our AC, some of them give us a straight up retaliate-like feature, some of them increase our damage by letting us just deal damage or make our weapon more powerful. Really, this means that we're not just able to go into this active battle trance where we have both Rage and Bladesong going to be defensive, but we're actually a really good generalist. We're very versatile, basically. With all the re-rolls and being able to roll twice at level 14 on our Wild Surge table, we'll really be able to fish for the exact feature we want in the exact situation we're in. Instead of just being your typical barbarian, we are an arcane one. We're something that is using magic as a way to slightly boost, at least, our just natural rage features that we get from being a barbarian. With all that said, it's time to summarize the build. There's not much more to really go into, given that, again, we're not mechanically astounding, but thematically we're pretty unique as far as a barbarian character goes. And I'll say the barbarian character because, for the most part, that's what we are. We got 16 levels of barbarian, so we're just mainly doing barbarian things. But with wild magic and the little dip into wizard for 4 levels, plus Bladesong, really makes us feel like a more arcane tradition character. We basically have a lot more versatility, and we're able to use these arcane features as a way to solve any sort of odd situation that might come up. Obviously, we can't do some real world-breaking things, but at the very least, we gain a little bit of buff to what we already do really well. In combat, we can actually enter a very focused battle trance, becoming very defensive, while also having some options to be a little bit more versatile or gain some more damage as well. Overall, with a combination of Rage and Bladesong, magic, and just martial prowess, we are a very big frontline warrior, capable of reacting to whatever our enemies throw at us, or even just the environment of the battlefield itself, and we have some very high durability. Let me know what you thought of the build, or what you might change to make it more of an actual arcane barbarian / Ragedancer. Thank you for joining me on the journey, and I hope to see you in the next one.